With the battlefield and the prison camp far behind, the men who lived through both came back. Their return was an occasion of great joy. For many who returned, the long trip back was not quite over. The struggle for health and well-being not yet won. For these, the next stop would be Walter Reed and the Army's other medical installations to recuperate in pleasant surroundings, under conditions of peace, and with the help of the best equipment and facilities, a grateful nation could provide its valiant fighters. Hospitals, understandably enough, are not among soldiers' favorite hangouts. But after the dirt and grime of battle, the dreary endlessness of prison camp, the garden setting of Walter Reed is very impressive to many weary soldiers. Private First Class Robert Walton is one of those so impressed. A 25-year-old former student from Wilmington, Delaware, he spent 28 months in a Red prison camp in North Korea after his capture the first spring of the war at Munsanee. At Walter Reed, while he relaxes and enjoys sights he hasn't seen for so long, he is steadily recovering from the debilitating effects of prison, the malnutrition and undernourishment which sapped his strength. Along with him, hundreds of soldiers with all kinds of wounds and illnesses are traveling the same road to recovery. Walton is as impressed by the efforts that are made along that road to recovery as he is by the landscapes at Walter Reed. Since it is not easy to impress a soldier who has seen the things he has seen, he is a good guide to show us around. The soldier patient today, struggling to overcome the wound or the illness that has stricken him, has as his allies in this struggle the very best medical knowledge that man has learned. In the laboratories of institutions like Walter Reed, medical research has advanced by great strides in the last few years. Because of the development of revolutionary techniques and equipment to combat disease and illness, battle casualties in the Korean War actually resulted in only about half as many deaths as battle casualties in World War II. Lives which once might have been wasted or only partly lived are today restored and renewed by medical knowledge which has been carefully gathered and translated into tools which forge health. This is the array of machinery which stands behind the ailing soldier at Walter Reed today. A vast and complicated collection of machines which do for a sick or wounded man what he cannot do for himself, and which represent the latest and the best in medical discovery. But medical knowledge, advanced though it might be, can only be part of the story of recovery. The best in equipment, the best in techniques can only be aids, crutches for the disabled. The substantial part of the effort toward rehabilitation rests with the soldier himself. with his capacity for courage and unceasing effort, with his determination to continue the fight. For with the soldier patient in the Army hospital, the war, a part of it, still goes on. The result of war still lives in a weakened lung, a missing limb. And the soldier must bring to the fight against it the same personal skills that he carried with him in battle. Just as he once threw everything that was in him into the study and prosecution of war, so now he must apply all his effort to the process of recovery. The battlefield is different now. The victory that is sought is of another kind, but some of the weapons that are used are the same: patience, courage, perseverance. These are the good soldier's personal weapons. And never are they more sorely needed than in the long fight back from the wounds of war to the health of peace. A secluded annex at Forest Glen, Maryland, 4 miles from the main hospital, is an important part of the Walter Reed Army Medical Center. Forest Glen had been an exclusive girls' college for 50 years when the Army bought it in World War II. Today, it still retains the unique charm it accumulated during its academic years. Architecturally, this charm is reflected in an interesting and varied assortment of styles. A sense of old-world attitudes pervades Forest Glen. But behind these buildings of other eras, projects are in operation which represent the most advanced knowledge in applied medicine. Projects such as that inside the prosthetics laboratory, where important and world-renowned research on artificial limbs is conducted. And the Audiology and Speech Correction Center, where deafened patients learn to hear again. But in addition to housing some of the medical center's most important research projects, Forest Glen is also a recuperative hospital. Here, Walter Reed patients not yet ready for duty, or not yet well enough to return to civilian life, relax in an atmosphere of rolling hills and winding walks, woods and streams. Here, too, men who have mastered once more the fundamental skills, such as walking, now tackle more difficult projects. In a special course, amputee patients learn all over again how to drive a car and how to take care of one. Changing a tire presented no special problems to Corporal Robert Jetty when he drove a car in his hometown of Holyoke, Massachusetts. But that was before he lost an arm. Now that same act requires considerably more skill. But skill is something a man acquires through trial and error and constant practice. More trial, more error, more practice. Changing a tire with one arm doing the work of two can be done. Corporal Jetty and his fellow classmates are able to do it easily at the end of their 12 hours of special instruction. The automobile these men learn to drive is fitted with special driving devices for amputees. Upon completion of the course, which usually results in a successful examination by state authorities, these patients receive a driving permit. But the permit can only suggest the most important result of this training, the regaining of confidence by men who have had to work hard and steadily at readjusting their lives. No concessions to safety rules are made. Operating a car on the public highways is a serious business, and no more or no less is expected from the amputee driver than from anyone else. But in actual fact, instructors have found amputee students exceptionally alert. They usually become very good drivers, an indication of the intensity they bring to their struggle for a normal life. Corporal Jetty is justifiably proud of his driving ability, and he doesn't mind showing it off. He drives skillfully, without nervousness, confident that he can handle his machine through the worst that traffic can bring. If you ride with him, you share his confidence. The highways won't be any more dangerous with Corporal Jetty back at the wheel of his car. In fact, the highways would be decidedly safer if all drivers were as good and as careful as Jetty. Nowhere in the nation today can you find more heartening manifestations of the doggedness in the American spirit than on these acres of hospital ground, where men who have lost part of their bodies are grimly determined to make their lives as good as they were before, or perhaps a little better. Sergeant Alfonso Spencer from Appomattox, Virginia, lost an arm when he was with the combat engineers in the early months of the war in Korea. He was a good man with a rifle then, and now he's a crack shot again, even though he's got a hook where his left hand used to be. What else can you see as you walk along the roads of Forest Glen, Walter Reed's Convalescent Hospital? Well, this is an army post, so there's bound to be a ball diamond somewhere on it. And if there's a ball diamond, there are bound to be men playing ball. It may be a ball game such as you've never watched before. The players may not have all the standard number of legs and arms affixed to their bodies that a ball game usually demands. The ball may not get hit as far. The running may not be as fast. You may feel a strange sensation in your throat as you watch it, but for sheer spunk, it's the match of anything you've ever seen. Golf clubs, like baseball bats and the other equipment of the sportsman, can also be important convalescent tools for handicapped men struggling for a normal life. Hospitalized men are on guard constantly against loneliness and boredom. Entertainment is important, and the hospital provides what it can.
C'est si bon de pacter n'importe où.